Episode 6. Luke 21 is a passage where Jesus is warning about the end times. In verse 26 of Luke 21, he says, "Men's heart failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken." In the previous verse, Jesus mentioned astronomical events happening in the sun, moon, and stars. Also things on earth. So verse 26 here could mean men are fainting or being terrified because of events are getting crazy. A common meme in 2020 depicted the craziness that began that year. Australian fires in January, locusts in February, the pandemic starts, riots in the spring, summer. How much crazier could it get? In 2021, the Pentagon released its UFO report. In 2023, whistleblowers told us of recovered non-human craft with biologics on board as pilots. The passage says, looking after those things which are coming on the earth. Let's look at it in an expanded view. Looking after, expecting, those things which are coming, arriving, descending like an enemy attack on earth. For the powers, armies and forces, of heaven, the expanse of space and sky, shall be shaken, agitated, and disturbed. Could this passage be talking about what we call UFOs, or now they call UAPs? Think of the events that escalated this past year in 2023. February 1st, a spy balloon seen over Montana. February 8th, it was eventually shot down and found to be a Chinese spying device. The U.S. then opens up our radar aperture, they said, and began looking differently at our sky. They typically look for fast flying objects. Now they began looking for slower things, and they began to show up. A second flying object was spotted over Alaska. F-35 fighter jets were sent up to identify it. On February 10th, jets were sent out again. That flight ended in a shoot-down of the object. The object was described as cylindrical and silverish gray, and it seemed to be floating. When asked if it was balloon-like, officials said, "All I can say is that it wasn't flying with any sort of propulsion. So if that is balloon-like, well, we just don't have enough at this point." February 10th, North American Aerospace Defense Command detected a high-altitude object over Alaska again. 2 U.S. F-22s monitored it over Alaska. Canadian aircraft joined as it crossed into Canadian airspace. February 11th, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau authorized the U.S. to shoot down the unidentified object, with the goal being so it could be recovered so we could determine its origin and purpose. It was a small cylindrical object flying at 40,000 feet. February 12th, another high-altitude object was shot down over Lake Huron. It was octagonal in structure, unmanned and traveling at 20,000 feet. Besides the Chinese spy balloon, none of these were recovered. July 2023, whistleblower David Grush and others testified to U.S. House Subcommittee in a hearing titled Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon, Implications on National Security, Public Safety, and Government Transparency. He is the one that told us that the United States have a secret UFO or UAP recovery program, and that the U.S. is in possession of non-human spacecraft along with their dead pilots, that we have been recovering craft as far back as 1933. The Mussolini government had the craft, and the United States, with the Vatican's help, procured it between 1944 and 1945. In July 2023, Grush testified that these statements were true, along with U.S. fighter pilot Ryan Graves, who testified UAP were witnessed by pilots almost daily on their radar and infrared between 2014 and 2015. David Fravor also testified at that same committee. He was a fighter pilot on the USS Nimitz. His encounter with the famous Tic Tac UFO was recorded and is now in the officially released videos from the Navy called Gimbal.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's like... Look at that thing! It's rotating.
And go fast.
Echo 6-1 Tango, Roger, over. Oh, got it! Woohoo! Roger, there's troubleshooting at... Did you box moving target? 02. No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at it fly!
Also, there's a video called FLIR that was recorded in 2004 that the Navy has released. With near government disclosure on UFOs, reports are increasing and encounters are becoming more and more mainstream. Are UFOs and UAPs what men are looking after, causing their hearts to fail in Luke 21? The narrative sure has changed, from conspiracy theory crazies to the government is researching them. What does the Bible say about them? Well, that could be a whole episode. They're not from other planets, I'll tell you that. Jesus warns us about deceptions and lies and fear in the last days. We know that the world will unite in a worldwide government. And Ronald Reagan even famously said,
"Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound." I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Is this the fear that we are building? Are many elements coming together? Are things piling up to show us that it is later than you think?
Forgive me if I speak bluntly. The universe grows smaller every day, and the threat of aggression by any group, anywhere, can no longer be tolerated. There must be security for all, or no one is secure. Now, this does not mean giving up any freedom, except the freedom to act irresponsibly.